Good morning and welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, where I'm very happy to have my next guest in studio because we've got lots of questions for him. From Deer Valley, we have the general manager, Bob Wheaton, who is here. Welcome, sir, to the show.
Well, thank you. Great
Absolutely.
to be here.
It's great to have you. And as the general manager for years now, how many years?
Well, I started at Deer Valley a couple months before we opened 37 years ago.
Wow. 37 years ago. Now president and general manager. What were you then when you started?
My first job offer was a ski instructor, and then by the time we opened, I had a job in building maintenance.
Wow. And you've seen a lot of changes over the years.
Just a couple.
Yeah. Of course, you know, things over the last couple of years when we lost Stein Erickson, that was something that I think for a lot of people sort of reset. I suppose kind of a feeling of Deer Valley. We still embrace that legacy, certainly.
Absolutely.
But it's we knew things were going to probably change in the future as you know, so many other resorts are starting to come under ownership under larger corporations. Certainly, the industry is contracting in that regard. What kind of led us down this path? Was this something you guys kind of knew was on the horizon?
No, it wasn't necessarily, you know, a long-term plan, but as valuations of premier ski resorts started to change, and there were opportunities on both sides, this was one that we collectively felt good about, and this will bring some resources to Deer Valley. Deer Valley will obviously add to the portfolio there, and you know, it's a great group.
Yeah, KSL Partners, right?
Correct.
Is the purchaser, which is now, I guess, Interwest and KSL together. Is that right?
It's actually the Crown family from Chicago.
Okay.
And KSL formed a partnership, and that was the partnership that acquired the resorts from Interwest.
Right.
And KSL had already owned Squaw Valley and Alpine Meadows,
right.
So that went into the partnership. And then the partnership acquired the 4 resorts that Mammoth owned.
So. Right. Who got an awful lot of snow last year.
Yes.
I think they still have snow.
Didn't we all?
Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah.
It was a great year. And this year is going to be great too. Things aren't going to change that much, right?
They aren't going to change.
They're not going to change. I like that.
I mean, it's, you know, everybody's still going to be there. We still have the same focus as we ever have, and that's where, you know, when this opportunity came, it's like, what, you know, the alignment, everything from the stars to planets, goals and objectives were just in side by side. I mean, it's just, and at every turn, as this deal was getting put together, you know, quite frankly, there were opportunities on the KSL and the Crown side that they could have taken the corporate line, if you will.
Sure.
Didn't happen. It was, the focus was still all about, okay, what's best for the guest, what's best for staff, what's best for the community. It's like, this works.
That's important because that brand internationally recognized, Deer Valley. This name is not going to change. There's obviously no reason why you would take away something that's so well branded. And with that, of course, all of the accoutrement of great service, facilities, all those things stay.
All the above.
The first question that I heard almost immediately on the web, maybe it was even the first in the Q&A or the FAQ, was, well, are you going to allow snowboarding? And that's not changing either, right?
No, it's not.
Skiers only.
Correct. Now, the 2 big questions that have been most frequent, that's certainly
one of them.
and the very next one was, gee, you know, are the gate's going to open and the place is going to get flooded and
right.
You know, too many skiers and all that. And again, you know, going back to aligned objectives and goals, no, it's not going to change. So we're still going to have a daily skier limit that will not change. We're still going to be a ski-only resort. The focus on the entire guest experience is still there. Everything from arrival to food and beverage to, level of guest service, friendly staff, great place to work, all that kind of stuff.
Great place to work is a good one, and that means you're staying too, which I think for a lot of people.
I kind of like it.
You kind of, yeah, I bet you kind of do. I mean, that for a lot of people, it was a big deal to know that you'd still be there. We've come to love Bob Wheaton.
Thank you.
That's something that people look to you to sort of represent us as a community. Do you feel that yourself? Do you know that that's how we feel about you?
I appreciate it. I mean, I really do. But it's not. It's all of us together. I mean, it's all the staff at Deer Valley. I'm a little prejudiced, but I really think that we have a top-notch team there. And as we have talked about, and I have talked about for years and years, it's not. You can't do this stuff in a vacuum.
Right.
It really takes the whole community. It takes a partner across the street. It takes all of us to get to where we are today, and that is a world-class destination that's also just happens to be an outstanding place for all of us to live.
Yeah.
And it really does take all of us to do that.
You mentioned the conversations you and I've had in the past, and we've had some great ones as we've met patrollers and instructors and ambassadors, skiers there, just everyday people there. And what I've recognized without a doubt is that you're right. People love this place in a way that's different than any other. And maybe for me, what was interesting is that I hadn't skied Deer Valley till, I guess it was only about 7 or 8 years ago. I finally got a chance to go over. And I'd always sort of, put it on a high echelon, which it certainly is, but I also thought that meant it was going to be snooty and snobby and whatever other word people have attached to it. I certainly probably thought that. When I got there, that's not how it was. It was a lot of really friendly people who wanted to really just absolutely take care of my every need.
That's the goal, and that really is our mission, is to do whatever we can to have our guests have a pleasurable experience, and from the staff side, help each other for that end goal. And I would like to think that it kind of shows.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, of course, a big change, it was a little more than a year ago, the purchase of Solitude as well by Deer Valley.
Correct.
That remains part of the Stern family's business, correct?
Correct. So ownership at Solitude doesn't change, so that's still in the partnership with the Sterns and the Penske's.
Okay.
And again, there, the guests won't notice any changes. Staff won't. I mean, there's no changes. I still have my position over there. Kim Mayhew is still running the joint.
Yep.
She's the GM over there, and here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
It's another great ski season. What are you looking forward to yourself to this next season?
Powder days.
Do you get many of them as the president? Do you actually get?
Yeah.
I know a lot of employees are like, I think the ones that seem to have the best gig are the ones that call us to give us a ski report, and because we know they go out and get right on the snow like 5 seconds after they're on the air with us.
Pretty much.
For a president, is that the same? Do you get to get out enough?
I do. My I dress like this in the summer, and from closing day until the next opening day, but when we're open for winter business, I'm in my ski clothes. So that's because I spend a lot more time outside than I do inside, and that's great.
It is great.
Get
That
to ski
sounds like
every
a life.
day and pick up a little garbage over here and talk to some people over there, and life is good.
Now, you guys have grown out the summer activities in a huge way too, and we should talk about that, because I kind of wonder, are you a big mountain biker? Because you guys have really raised the bar on mountain biking in Park City.
It's worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
We got into mountain biking God, I don't know, it's got to be maybe even 20 years ago. I mean, it's been a while, 15 anyway. And it's been very good. And that's when mountain biking was pretty much a fledgling kind of sport. New, technology hadn't quite reached the equipment. And then the whole downhill thing started a number of years ago. We held some Norba downhills, and it's one of those, well, we ought to kind of pay attention over here, because this really has some possibilities. And it just kind of kept growing. And then a couple years ago, the sport really started to not morph, but instead of just cross country, the whole flow trail thing started coming on, and it's fun. But it does take a real focus, and it's much more calculated now than it certainly was when we started doing mountain biking. And there wasn't necessarily the design expertise. It was, as most sports, just like skiing. It's a group of people that really enjoy the sport that got together, and you go, okay, we'll put a trail over here and we'll do this over here, but now, it's a calculated deal.
There's work that has to be done.
And design work.
Right. I want to talk about that when we come back. I'm going to take a quick break, come back and talk a little bit about the investment you guys have made into mountain biking, a little more, some last thoughts about the purchase, some other questions that people might have, and wrap things up with our friends at Deer Valley.
Sounds great.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, come back with Bob Wheaton right here on Park City Television. You're back with us here on the Mountain Morning Show, where we're continuing our conversation with President and General Manager of Deer Valley. Bob Wheaton is here. He also serves as the president over Solitude as well.
Correct.
And I'm thrilled to get a chance to talk to you about some of these questions that people have of the purchase of Deer Valley. This has certainly been a big news item in Utah, and really nationwide. People were interested in this, of course, as you might imagine. There are some. I've asked you this question. Is there going to be any changes? No, there's not any changes. There is one that is a difference, and that is that you guys now have a new COO, right? And that's David Perry, as I understand it.
Yeah. So David is the COO of the new partnership that the Crown family and KSL formed.
Right.
Yes.
And will he be moving here to Park City?
No, I'll probably still stay in Colorado.
Okay. Talk a little bit about him. You actually know him. You've known him for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about David Perry.
He's a great guy. And that if anybody has a chance to meet him, he's one of those genuine individuals that his heart and soul is in the ski industry. And he's also a heck of a skier as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah. He was with Interwest. One of his tough duties, and I remember this one clearly, when Interwest acquired CMH, which is Canadian Mountain Holidays, and that is the premier helicopter skiing operation in Canada. And he gave me a call and he said, hey, I got a new deal. He said, I'm going to be looking at CMH, and you ought to come up and we'll have a little meeting on site. And it's like, oh man, twist my arm.
Yeah, because that means you're going helicopter skiing.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's had a number of different experiences, but his, as we were talking about before with KSL and the Crown family as a whole, and David in particular, his heart and soul is in the same place as Deer Valley has been for 37 years. He's all about quality. He's all about relationships. He does a great job. He really knows what he's doing, and we've been friends for a long time. And now I'm really enthusiastic about being able to actually work together.
That's pretty cool.
It's a cool deal.
Yeah, you get to work with your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not bad.
How's it get? I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, I don't think.
Well, I mentioned to you, I think people, people look to you with a lot of trust from this community, to kind of look out for us with Deer Valley. I've teased here that I call you Uncle Bob, and you've always been cool about it. But it's because I feel like, I kind of feel that. I feel like we have a relationship, and I think that's what most people in this community feel with Deer Valley and with you and with what's going on. I'm reassured by knowing that it's your friends.
Thanks.
I think that's something that we should all take some comfort from.
I truly consider it a personal honor to be involved for so long, to be able to live and raise our family in such a wonderful place as we get to live here. I mean, it just, every day you get up and you look around and you go, God, this is home. And I'm driving to work. And you're looking at where we live, and it's like, doesn't get a whole lot better, I don't think.
Yeah, I'd say the smell this morning outside was reassurance again. Just, we live in a great place.
Yes,
it was an amazing morning this morning, and I'm thrilled you could spend some time with me. I've only just a couple questions left. We were kind of talking about the mountain biking as we wrap up that season here pretty quick. You guys have put a huge investment into that. With new trails and opening a new one almost every year, it seems, for the last couple of years. You were talking about the fact that this is there are plans, there are things that have to be done to make those things happen. It's just like laying out a new trail for skiing, except for bikes. It's it's an entirely different animal in that regard. Talk about that for another moment.
It is extremely similar to, back in the day, it was, kind of like, well, this trail ought to go over there and then over there, and then maybe we'll have this little steep thing in there. Well, that's not the case anymore.
You guys are CAD engineering these things.
Yes, exactly. So the maps come out, goes on the computer. There are guidelines about not only pitch, but width, turn radius, height of banks, all that kind of stuff. And all that gets put into the design. Then it goes out, gets laid out on the ground, and then you start and you go.
Do you find yourself on a bike every now and then?
Yes, I do.
And you enjoy that as much as you like skiing? I was to say, probably not.
I can't lie. Skiing, powder days, I don't know if it gets any better than that.
I don't think it does either, and I'm looking forward to some great powder days, both at Deer Valley and at Solitude. I hope that I get to spend a couple of them with you.
Well, thanks. Can I hold you to that?
I hope you do.
Okay.
You have to buy lunch, all right?
I'll do that.
I'll get the beers, you get the lunch, and we'll have a great day.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are too. So hopefully we've answered some of your questions about what's going on at Deer Valley, because we know we've had phone calls, and I'm sure that Bob Wheaton has answered a few of them himself. Deer Valley's purchase not going to mean a whole lot different for you this season. Certainly you could take some solace in that and get right out there once the snow starts falling, and we're less than 90 days out from that. So the ski season is on its way, and we look forward to doing it at Deer Valley. We'll be back right after this.